Welcome to a short reflection by Sebastian Mahfoud on Canto 10 of Dante's Purgatorio. Once through the gate, Dante doesn't look back, but begins to circle the first cornice, or ledge, of Purgatory. From this point on, each of the cornices up which Dante climbs will be preceded by a whip, or a spur, concerning the associated virtue, and followed by a rein, or brake, concerning the consequences of the vice. Both the whip and the rein are carved images in some of these cornices, but come to resemble radio or cinema as the poets climb higher. In this way Dante proves himself the greater visionary than Da Vinci. Each whip is structured with a scene from the life of Mary, from either the Old or New Testaments, and from the secular world. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. The angel both greets Mary and announces the presence of Christ, to which she gives her fiat. In this scene, which is our first direct observation of Mary, we can ascribe the canticle to her. For if this is a canticle of angels, it is also a canticle of the Queen of the Angels, whose influence we first observed in St. Lucia's bearing Dante's body to the gate. Virgil has to tell Dante to pull his eyes away from his adoration of the first scene, in order to look at the other two scenes on the panel. The next is of King David's nude dancing. Ciardi notes that Dante has conflated two stories in his depiction of King David's putting aside all the offices of majesty to dance in humility and total abandonment before the Lord. The stories are told in 2 Samuel. The first dealt with Uzzah's being struck dead for laying unsanctified hands upon the ark during the first leg of its journey into Jerusalem, and the second with the ark's successful arrival in Jerusalem, whereupon David danced. The third panel is a story from the life of the good Roman Emperor Trajan, of the late 1st and early 2nd century following Christ, who stopped a war train in order to secure justice for a widow. We'll hear of Trajan again when we reach Jupiter, the 6th sphere of heaven, and speak to the eagle who is comprised of the just and temperate rulers. The pagan emperor has made it to heaven, and through no conversion experience of his own during his natural life, a mystery which will resolve less than 40 cantos from now. For now, though, it's of note that Dante hears the first radio message, similar to a visit we might make to a museum, where the wax figures from the past speak their parts. In chapter 55 of the 4th book of his Summa Contra Gentiles, St. Thomas defines humility as consisting in the keeping of oneself within one's own bounds, not reaching out to things above one, but submitting to one's superior. The whip of pride shows us the ideal of humility when it demonstrates this form of submission, and this is the first thing the souls who purify themselves of the vice, by filling themselves with the virtue, see as they enter into the task of expiating themselves from this sin. Dante ends the canto by noticing the first among them crawling under the weight of huge stones, that crushed them down to the earth, in declaring, "O you proud Christians, wretched souls and small, who by the dim lights of your twisted minds believe you prosper even as you fall." Our response to this is clear. We must submit to the authority that is higher than we are, and that calls for an active response to divine revelation.